Unbelievable. Okay, let's watch this game. Here's my expectations of this match, the Shanghai-London match. Shanghai are absolutely beastly. I expect them to dominate. But I think it would be cool if Glista can put up some kind of a performance. And I am hoping that Shanghai don't play any dumb comps. Because the last time they played against the London Spitfire, they played some dumb comps. So I'm just hoping that Shanghai don't fall into the same trap as Seoul just did. Interesting that they've got DM subbed in for this first map. I think that we could see a lot more DM being played with the Widowmaker available here and Ashe available on other maps. If you're playing full-time Ashe, then I could certainly see a world in which DM gets integrated into this lineup because he's unbelievably good at the hit scan. Having said that, Lip has been fantastic so far too, so I don't think it's much of an upgrade. Anyway, DM Glista should be interesting to watch. Both of those guys are very, very good Widowmakers. I also want to pay a bit of attention to Izayaki as well because he played amazingly in the main melee, and I want to know whether that was an overperformance or whether that's how he normally plays. Ooh, nice shot from Glista. Glista is so talented. I think that he could have been a Rookie of the Year candidate if London had done better this year. But we just haven't seen his ceiling because London have not been good enough.
Push back. J-Mac going to be eliminated. Fleda into the back line, looking for Hiley. Takes him low, but he cannot get that one clip. But you can see the support coming through. So they do manage to keep that Zenyatta alive and in the fight. He is falling significantly further behind.
Fleda's tracking is really nice.
When it comes down to that Transcendence charge time, Shanghai Dragons now have the points. The London Spitfire have to try and advance towards them. Yeah. And that is going to be increasingly difficult to try and take the point when you are going up against a Transcendence.
Fleda's Tracer has been surprisingly good this year as well. I mean, I know that Fleda can play everything, but Tracer's normally a hero that you have to put a lot of time into, a huge amount of time. Like most of the Tracer players in the league started off as Tracer specialists. So it has been surprising to me that Fleda's been as good as he's been. He's looked as good as any of the top Tracers this year. That's unusual for a player that is so flexible. Or at least it's unusual for a player that hasn't played Tracer in the past who's so flexible. Dionysuse! Thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs! Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Very pog. Any dodges in the chat? Thank you.
They just can't approach the point right now, so Trans is going to finish. As you say, Izayaki is so close to it. Well, they're just going to have to try to beat
Izayaki building up his ult charge twice as fast as Hiley. With all of that extra position, Void just pushing out so much work. Producing, as Jake would say. Absolutely producing. I'm going to go and look up Void's Sigma stats right now. Because my opinion is that Void is the best off-tank in the league. But I have no idea what Void's stats are. Let's see how they rank. I mean, he has been farming, and you would expect that players on a good team would be doing really well. But let's see. I'll turn this to deaths. Heroes on Sigma. Apply. And we have our Sigma rankings. Okay. Final blows per 10. We've got Gargoyle at the top. Also eliminations, but these are broadly similar. They normally correlate pretty highly. Void is 4th behind some other very large names when it comes to the Sigma. Interesting that Hopper is this high up, by the way. A lot of people were talking about Hopper not being that great on Sigma, but he's putting in work statistically, putting in a lot of damage as well. Void a little further down on the hero damage per 10, actually. Deaths per 10. Void alongside pretty similar to Gargoyle and Krong, stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, nothing outstanding when it comes to these just general stats, but interesting to note. Dionysuse, is that another 5 gifted subs? Thank you so much. Best off-tank, are you serious? Yeah, I genuinely think the Void is the best off-tank this year. I think so. I mean, some other off tanks have been great, but I think the Void has been so fantastic in terms of his positioning, the work that he's able to get done, and the all-roundedness that he has across all of his different off tanks. Hopper top 10 in almost all his stats. Yeah. I do think that Hopper's a top 10 player. I think it's just he's around that kind of 10th level. Choyobin has my vote. Choyobin's pretty good. I think that Choyobin's weaknesses on Zarya have been exposed a little bit so far this year. And his ball has looked pretty trash as well. Now, I'm not saying that Void can play ball. Ball is sometimes a little bit outside of some off-tanks hero pools. But I think it's 1 and 2 between the two of them. And personally, I would put Void a little higher.
Continuing to build up towards that next ultimate, which Bernard is still trying to get there himself. 56% now. Discord trying to hug in behind that shield, but just cannot do so. He and Sanguinar now. J-Mac as well.
This is it's also cool to see Fearless playing the Orisa. Because normally Shanghai run stand 1 on the Orisa. Oh my god, Fleder just clapped although. Absolutely clapped him. Although looked like a child playing around.
Hiding from a flank here. They still hold Trance. Lens Spitfire are going to have to match Trance. I think they have to try to...
I wonder if they're trying to just turn Fearless into their full-time tank, where the Fearless will start playing a lot more Orisa and Reinhardt. I'd be interested to see if Fearless's Orisa and Reinhardt are as good as his Winston, because his Winston is bonkers, but his Orisa and Reinhardt I haven't really noticed that much special, but he also hasn't... He's played less than an hour of both. So, hasn't been much data to work with. Oh, Fleder's just uncontested, although just can't hold a candle to him. They're so coordinated, and Void makes so much space, and then Fleder just cleans him up. That's utterly dominant.
It's a hot and cold composition when you're running Tracer with a double shield.
DM beasted Glister this map? Really? I saw Glister get the opening kill, and then DM get a couple of picks afterwards, but I didn't really see them actually kill each other that much. I wasn't paying too much attention to it, though. Fleder's an absolute monster. If this man is an MVP, it's actually scripted. I think he's an MVP candidate. Yeah, I mean, if I was to point to the best player on Shanghai this year, I think they're quite a well-rounded team, and they're like stacked team as well. But it would be kind of Fleder, Void, and then maybe Fearless. Actually, Lip has been bonkers as well. But yeah, probably. I don't fucking know. I mean, Shanghai's roster is just so stacked. But Fleder's definitely in the running. Okay, so London are going to run a rush composition here, double shield, the Rhino Orisa. They get very fast engagement into Shanghai. This could certainly result in a win. If they can win this first fight as well, they're in a good position for the second engagements. Nice from all though. Good cleanup. Huge amount of cleave coming out of J-Mac as well. Good first fight. Good first fight from London. Nice ability usage. Good pace. Not scared. Fleder goes over to the Mei. The Mei in Shanghai's comp is designed to delay rather than separate people off, I think. Because Shanghai want slightly slower fights for their Zen and Batiste to get value. And their Ashe as well, I suppose. Oh, Glister's right behind them. Shatter as well. Nice play. Good play from London. It's really hard to disrupt the Rhino Orisa comps once they're in control.
And I mean, this is the problem. I mean, DM doesn't do a ton of damage. He gets 35% ult charge, you know.
Hey, yeah.
Did you know that Dad's Bakery also makes croissants?
Nice. Fresh baked croissants. Yeah, I'll take another croissant. Donut, fucking hell. All right, what do I go for, chat? I'm gonna show you the what do I go for? Which one? Which one? We got like I don't normally eat the sprinkly ones, honestly. Do you know what? I'm feeling like one with a filling. Which ones have fillings? No, actually, maybe just a powdered basic sugar donut. Powdered basic sugar donut.
That was a roller coaster.
I know, I'm a spoilt child that can't decide what to pick. Are any of them jam, actually?
No.
There's no jam donuts?
No, there's 3 cream-filled ones.
Oh, right,
No
okay.
Jelly.
Interesting.
Jelly are my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go with the classic sugar donut. Daddy's sugar donut.
From that last engagement, doesn't get a bob. And as you were saying, the biggest part was the positioning of Blister. They didn't see him. They took so much damage from him even without his ultimate.
Nice wall from Fleta.
Yeah, wall comes up, blocks the fire strike, and here the window through, however, from Hiley.
Gives Shanghai opportunities to delay the fight. Oh my god.
Fire strike from J-Mac goes straight through that.
The fire strike from J-Mac, he doesn't even need to halt because Shanghai are all in a tiny little corridor.
That is some incredible value. See Bob now going to be taking his
That's pretty huge.
Spitfire.
Oh, but Glister dies.
Trying to pick up on a Glister that gets rid of one big
Glister gets killed here by DM, which means that London have to back off. Oh, Fleta dies, actually.
J-Mac lands another
They can take an engagement. This could just be London winning. Oh.
dropped in, goes straight into the barrier, so doesn't net that much. Sound barrier out from Sanguinar in response to the
You don't have to overchase this. Oh my god, J-Mac's fire strikes are finding kills constantly.
fire strike. It's just been pinpoint accuracy from him with these fire strikes thus far. Shield is
This is rough, though. They've been kind of halted back. Oh, nice.
they managed to keep
Nice flank from Glister. Well timed coming off the spawn.
Luffy could not keep himself alive, and somebody needs to tag.
Nice! Actually, really good play from London.
Equal show of dominance here from the London Spitfire. 100 to 0.
That was even more dominant than the first round. Like, I think it's a bit more cheesy,
A compositional problem. If you get the point
but
with
yeah.
Ashe, she has so many sightlines. She can chip away at anyone who tries to come out of those choke points.
Good play by London.
First, you struggle to get out. The Bob
Playing a composition that works well on that map, and then executing really well.
fire strike, if I'm not mistaken. Walls up, and there's the
That's
fire
good
strike.
shit.
He was actually hiding too to the left before for a potential penny. He's actually been in really nice spots.
Shanghai Dragon's comp is bad for the map. I think that Rush is generally better on Mecha Base, but I think that that comp can win perfectly fine on that map. I think Shanghai just didn't realize. I actually think the pivotal part of that entire map was right here, right at the beginning, where Shanghai. Both teams use the teleporter, but I think Shanghai does not realize that they're running the Lucio Rush kind of stuff, and Shanghai come out, and as they come up the top here, they already are like face to face with the Rush comp, and by the time they try and retreat, they just hit the Mei wall, and this to me is like the pivotal part of the entire map, because if Shanghai realize that that London are likely to run Rush, and they're able to curve off to the left-hand side earlier and not get caught by this Mei wall, they can probably win this first fight, because London have already used their speed. And they have a very good chance of being able to win this round. But this comp is just so powerful when it's in control of the point. So I don't think it's necessarily like Shanghai should just run a different comp.
But going back to what I was saying really
It's a
quick,
snowball factor of London's.
Actually, I'm just going to scrap that entirely. Let's talk
BB Poison, thank you very much for the 2 months. Thank you.
about Fleta DM on the Pharaoh Widow. Shanghai Dragon's most successful composition last
Okay,
year.
London are going to continue to run this comp, but it's nowhere near as good as on this map.
But this is an unstoppable.
I think Shanghai are going to demolish here.
As one of the greatest widows together on Shanghai Dragons, a team that's familiar with this composition.
Fleta and DM. This is like the classic Shanghai Dragons comp as well. The Farah and the Widowmaker. And London's comp has to just stay on the point. And so they're just going to get bullied by Fleta.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it's
If Glister can kill DM, it might give them opportunities to win, but
back on the roster, and instead of Gamsu on that on the record,
I don't think so.
maybe Void. Let's see how they plan with this composition. For now, London Spitfire going to be very grouped up. Bionate
It's a good attempt to try and kill Izayaki, but Fleta just poos on them.
himself 70% of the way towards that barrage.
Insta-lunch, thank you very much for the 2 gifted subs.
The Mei Widow
Thank you.
composition seems a little bit anti-synergistic.
Daddy's Donuts arrived, they did.
The Mei can help heal
And they're
quite
delicious.
for the Widowmaker, and the Widowmaker
Daddy's Delicious Donuts.
away at heroes that are, making that slow peek around. I don't think they expect.
I think London should swap their comp now. Oh, they actually do. They go Glister over to the McCree. Is that enough? Maybe. Could be. It's very weird whenever you have these two types of styles play against each other, because London's only way to win is to rush down to the point, or like rush around here and try and get to the point. But basically what they have to do is just huddle in this little bunker area underneath the point and try and bait the Shanghai Dragons to coming down onto them. And then occasionally they can speed boost out and try and kill Izayaki. But apart from that, they just have to kind of wait for Shanghai to come to them. And Shanghai are going to give up point control. Most of the time, this is how it's going to play out anyway. They're going to give up point control in order to win the team fights. And so you can sometimes see situations where a team that's running this comp, and this happens on Village on Nepal as well as on this map, sometimes they can lose every fight apart from the last one and still win the round. Just because they get capture point, capture time, progress. But I don't know. London looking like they're coming through the right-hand side here, so maybe they have some plan to get onto Izayaki. I would assume that they're just going to try and get to the point as quick as possible. Oh my god. Although got destroyed. Void on the ball as well. I was actually just saying that I didn't know how good Void was on ball. He hasn't played very much of it in his career.
Mercy was a flex support. It was one of his stronger heroes, actually, back in the old days of Pharah. So this is actually a position he's very comfortable with. So this may be why they're running this, because Lee Jae-gon is sick, or perhaps they're preparing it all along. We'll never know, but he's doing a great job so far.
That he is, although under fire again, trying to get the freeze here. 5-8 comes through. He'll go ahead and ice block that one.
London have managed to make it over to the point with the coalescence, but ends up getting shot. I mean, Shanghai are just too good, man. They're just too good. They play the line of sight properly. They don't get caught out. They're always aware that what London's win conditions are and how to avoid them. Diona Zeus, thank you for the 11th gifted sub in the channel. Thank you so much. Has Ding played this year? I think he played like one map or something, right?
That's their only real chance here is to outlast. The barrage can change everything if it is not avoided. He's got a great position to use it too.
He's just threatening them here.
What? Tried to conk blast away there. This is a horrible situation for London to be in. Ideally, their comp would have been able to capture the point a few times by now and taken a long time to kill. And so you should be fairly even with the other team. There's basically no way that they can win this round.
Would have been Lucio gone, and no sound barrier for
Shanghai have just pounded them. Oh my god, the balls to barrage a Deadeye just that has 2 shields around it. Fucking hell. Fleder's Farah's so good. Fleder has come alive this season. He's finally hit the potential that we always had glimpses of.
As they string one after the other onto the point, Glisser swaps to the Soldier 76, but to no avail. It is not fast enough.
He played the first time Echo came out versus Chengdu and NYXL.
Looking good. Thought maybe Spitfire was going to be able to come back.
I don't even remember, honestly. Okay. So, London had one round where they played well, and outside of that, Shanghai comprehensively outplayed them. Okay. Dragons have 14 wins, the most they've ever had in a season. That's a stat. Holy shit.
Yeah, worth noting, of course, that Lip is currently in. Yes. He's the one hovering that. Pharah now going to be...
Alright, so Lip is now in instead of DM. They're still running with Luffy Izayaki instead of Lee Jae-gon. But I think the caster said something about Lee Jae-gon being ill. So, I'm not really sure. Oh, Lee Jae-gon was sick? Okay. Fair enough. It's a good meta for Lee Jae-gon to be sick. Because you can get away with running just the Zen Bap most of the time. And even if you want to play dive, like, it seems like the Shanghai Dragons have got a bunch of strats that revolve around Luffy just being on the Mercy, so... It's a pretty good meta for your Lucio player to be ill. Okay, Shanghai are going to roll out with this comp as well. So Shanghai are going to play the poo comp, as we call it in the business. But it isn't the total poo comp, because I was actually saying this during the Soul game, is that I thought the Genji was a better pick than the Tracer and the Reaper, because at least you have some kind of synergy with the bubbles as well. If you don't want to give them to Fearless, if you want to play Fearless in a bit more of a zoning style, where he just takes position and controls the map instead of hard diving, then you don't have to give the bubbles to him. But alright, let's see how Shanghai Dragons play this composition. It is a different version to the one that Soul were playing, but it's somewhat similar. I actually think this is massively different as well. I mean, running the Genji just adds a level of verticality that isn't present when you have the Reaper involved, and it lets you sync up with your Winston a lot better. The thing is, when you have a Zarya, you have like 2 seconds to be able to get in, get use out of the bubble, and get a kill. And so for that, you really need like a Genji. A Genji and a Tracer are probably the 2 best heroes to be able to do that, because you can just do so much dive burst damage at the same time. Now, having said that, I also expect that Fearless will be much smarter than Gesture about being able to creep up to certain areas so that he doesn't have to take these big, long leaps and burst his bubble in midair. The shorter your leap can be, the more value you're going to get out of your Zarya bubble, because they can't do damage to you and they can't do damage to your bubble before you've got on top of them. So I expect Fearless... If you remember watching the Soul VOD, there were a lot of times where you just see Gesture just fucking launching himself from Timbuktu, and his bubble would be broken by the time he landed. I think that King's Row has more opportunities to be sneaky and like try and, you know, work underneath here or work behind in this angle, or even loop around behind and try and find opportunities, or loop all the way around if you're like a Genji player. You can break vision very effectively on King's Row, whereas you can't do that as much on Oasis, for example, one of the maps where they were playing it, or Hollywood Point A. So it's Shanghai are playing like an upgraded version of the Soul comp here, which doesn't make it total horse shit. But it's still hard to pull off. Like, I still don't think that Shanghai should be favored against a team that's running this most of the time. Now, what I don't understand is, why is JMac on the high ground? Why isn't he in this kind of position with Banar up here, where they can apply poke damage to the people who are approaching? Shanghai have managed to get in without taking any poke damage. Everyone is on full HP. So that, I think, is a big mistake for the London Spitfire, because you're playing a poke comp. You need to poke your opponent, otherwise you are going to lose. Like, I'm not sure. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is that even though Shanghai, I think, are playing this comp better, they're playing a better version of the comp, and they're playing the comp better, or probably going to play the comp better, I think that it's unlikely that Shanghai, in my opinion, would still be able to beat New York playing this composition. Like, I think there is very effective counters to this composition. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if London get rolled over, though, because at the moment they're not even poking Shanghai at all. And that is just a recipe for disaster. They're literally giving them a free tick. London are so scared. Yeah, they're just playing like pussies. They did manage to kill Fleta, though. Oh, and they kill Fearless as well. London should be able to get back into this. Okay, let's see if London take up a more aggressive posture this time. They need Highly and Sanguinai in positions where they can actually do damage. Like, for example, you could play the Zen in the window up top, like directly above where I'm pointing here. You can play the Batiste with your Orisa right there, and then you can play your Glister and Banar can play up on the high ground. Now, where are London playing? Because if they hide, or if they don't take high ground again, I think they are just not setting up properly.
That barrier ended up being pretty huge there, because otherwise they might have won that war of attrition. But
Yeah, they are contesting Flutter when he comes in, but they've got no control over the high ground. They've got nobody up top. They've got no one on this high ground, no one on this high ground. Oh, they do actually have someone in the window. No. No, wait. No, they don't. That's Lip. Is that Lip? In the window? Yeah, it's Lip. So, okay. They have no control of the high ground here. They are all bunched up in a corner. They have done no poke to the Shanghai Dragons. This is like an example of how not to play this comp. And I think this is because they're scared of Shanghai. I think they're just giving them way too much respect because they know that they are a good team. And they just make it way too easy for Shanghai to win. It's a world of difference between Shanghai playing this comp and Seoul playing this comp. Both in terms of their approach, like I was talking all throughout the Seoul game, that Prophet needed to get in position as Tracer before they dived. Where was Lip on that fight? He was in position before they set up the dive. New York made it much more difficult for Seoul because they poked them as they approached. They took up positions. They fought them over high ground. And they really valued certain defensive positions, whereas London just fucking rolled over. But Shanghai are also playing it better. I also think the Genji is maybe a necessity when you play this style.
They can't get out of the tube.
King's Row is a series of tubes, I think famous quote.
King's Row is a series of tubes, much like the internet. Yeah, yes.
Straight up to Dragon Blade. He's not going to have a nano boost.
London giving a lot of respect to Shanghai.
I think at least force the trance out of this.
Halt. Force the bubble as well. Fearless is going to have to back off. London should just be able to push this forwards. They're just denying vision, though, the whole of Shanghai. They're playing in a position where they can't be seen. Fearless is going to jump, but he jumps up on the high ground instead. So he's not doing this like direct dive into them. They're just trying to control the map, which is something that Seoul were not doing. Fleder goes in. Oh my god, they found the kill on Bernard. Jesus Christ. Wow. Bernard takes so much damage. I don't even know how Bernard takes this much damage. Where's Lip? Like, how the hell does Bernard go to half health here? It can't all just be from the Winston. I don't fucking know. Lip's miles away. I guess it must be just Fleder hitting the shurikens, right? That's kind of crazy. Like, Fleder must have hit some nasty shurikens there. Because his health disappears. And then he dives in and they manage to find the kill. That's actually so fucking sick. That's ridiculous from Fleder. That's kind of fucking mad, actually. Look at Bernard's health just evaporate here. And it's not, like, Void's not right-clicking him. The supports can't do any damage. And yet Bernard just gets pounded. He's down to half health. Lip's not shooting him. Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, maybe it is the Ana as well. Because the Ana is... Izzyaki has looped all the way around the side. No, I think you'd see if he was getting shot because he'd probably be scoped in. I think that's just Fleder hitting shurikens. I don't fucking know. I mean, that's some magical shit. That's some magical Shanghai Dragon shit. 100% a right click from Zarya too? I didn't see it. No? There's no right click from the Zarya. You would see it. Yeah, it's the, there is, no, actually, there's a damage boost on Fearless, yeah. Yeah. It's, anyway, that's a really nasty dive. And that's a team that understands that you don't always have to just jump into the enemy team. You can do damage from the surroundings and soften targets up and get people set up in position. But okay, Lip dies, but Bernard also dies. Oh, Fleder dies. It's quite nice from Aldo. Pretty good. And London's managed to repel them.
by Glister. So that happens sometimes when the McCree's really ready for the Tracer flank. As soon as he died...
Watch the grav. The grav is coming. Oh my god, okay. This grav is almost destined to get 0 value anyway. So I mean, I'm going to preemptively say that I don't really care that much what happens to this grav. And I think that Marvel was playing badly by prioritizing the grabs too much in the previous game. But having said that, let's have a look. Let's have a look. What does he do? What does he do? Oh my god! It's not like that shield just went up. It's not like... Oh no, the shield did just go up. Oh, it did actually. Oh my god, that shield did just go up immediately to block it. Oh Christ. Yeah, that's a yeet of a grav. That's an absolute yeet. I don't think the grav is really that important though in these comps. The only thing the grav does is like force out the trance and the immortality field. But having said that, throwing your grav away completely, not a good idea, because now the supports are just giggling in the backline for London.
It's gonna be a crazy fight. And that one missed.
Okay. That's a really big whiff on a graviton surge for the...
That is a enormous whiff on a grav. That's the biggest whiff I've ever seen, I think, actually.
Over in front of point B, so a major loss now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. How do they try to engineer a turnaround now?
They stick somebody, and they go in with the Nano Blade. Fleta can't really get that much done, but nice follow-up. So let's take a look at what happens in this fight too. So like I said, the grav doesn't really matter that much. Lip goes in and he pulse bombs somebody. I don't actually know who gets pulse bombed. Maybe it's J-Mac or whatever. But anyway, it forces out the... Yeah, it was J-Mac. It forces out the immortality field. And the blizzard goes down as well. Nano Blade gets popped at the same time. And so Shanghai are putting London on the back foot. A lot of things are going to be popped here. And London are going to have to back off. But London can't physically back off because they need to block the payload. So I love the way that Shanghai combo objective pressure with damage pressure as well. You know, they wait for good opportunities to dive. And so they're able to outlast this. The rest of Shanghai still staying alive, fearless with the primal, soaking up the damage. But nah, I think missed the flux there as well. And Genji just poos on the backline. Woo! Fleta missed a lot of shots there actually, but it's great execution on the follow-up. And the biggest difference between Shanghai and Seoul is just how they are timing and positioning themselves. But I also think that London are just doing a really poor job of poking them as they approach. They're just playing way too scared with their supports. When you watch Jonak play against the dive comps of Seoul Dynasty, Jonak's positioned really far forwards at the front. And he's stood okay behind the shields, but he's got angles on everybody, putting Discord orbs out, the right targets, hidden heads all over the place. And he just trusts in his team to pocket him. If you play passive and you sit out of line of sight because you're scared of being dived, you're never going to be able to put out enough damage onto the dive to actually stop it in the first place. So you're just a catch-22. If you're scared of the dive, you'll succumb to the dive. And now Shanghai go back over to a double shield comp with the May Widow. And they're just rolling him over. London didn't have any ultimates. And they just fucking pooed on him. Yeah, London are a massive tier below Shanghai. Massive tier below.
So London just giving a bit too much room, over to the Widow play there, and they just don't push out towards the card.
Yeah, London is mega scared. Mega scared per Renegade. They're so passive. They're never stepping up. They're constantly backing off. They just don't believe in themselves at all. Shanghai won this game the minute they got into the server. The psychological damage was already done.
He grappled like out of spawn because he's like,
Hunker, thank you for the 2 months of Prime.
the team had to play
And Draper as well with the 20 months of Tier 1. Thank you so much for that 2 minutes ago that I missed. Oh, and Sticky Hanzo. Thank you for the Twitch Prime as well. Brand new tier Twitch Prime sub 13 minutes ago. Thank you.
The cart just rolls through. Like, look at this. Like, Fearless is the only one here, but look how everyone's
Look how scared J-Mac and Bernard are.
Riley's over here, Bernard's
They're so scared.
and then J-Mac just, feebly tries to touch the point.
It's, I mean, it's poo.
Very well demonstrated by Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah, I guess they're not just one tier below. They're a couple of tiers below. You're right, the Honor Zeus.
A dominant attack. They cannot afford to flounder on point A. They need to
London looked better in the next map. Yeah, I heard that map 3 was actually pretty good.
initial archway
I think London played Hog and Ball Torture, right? I saw a tweet about it.
in the choke. Then it's going to be very costly for them as far as the time bank and maybe even prevent them from finishing the map. Glister's going to swap over onto the Widowmaker. He's looking for a target, but sees that barrier there.
Void's barrier's too well placed.
I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the chat. Okay, what's going on here?
Barrier's too well placed.
Okay, London are attacking with kind of the meta comp. Shanghai have got meta comp as well.
Be eliminated by Fleta. Continues to play forward here.
Fleta snacking on the back line. Fleta kills Sanguinar 1v6. Is there anyone helping Fleta here?
Already highly going
I don't think there is, right? All of the rest of their team are playing down there on the low ground. And Fleta kills Hiley and then kills Sanguinar as well.
here.
He just two-clips him. Just two-clips him and no one does any damage to him. Look at Fleta's health. Look at Fleta's health.
London is caught in a
Nothing. Who the fuck are London shooting at?
Okay, he's dashed down the staircase and is just building up for
Oh my god.
against J-Mac will help take him down with the assistance of Luffy.
The problem is there wasn't any peel, unfortunately, to deal with
I think London had originally wanted to take the top right staircase, but Glister was stuck, cut off from the rest of the team, so they were kind of caught between going back and helping Glister and pushing forwards, and so they just stood there in the staircase and Fleta ate their ass.
before. I'm surprised we don't see McCree here coming out of London to try to help repel that.
Shanghai onliners.
Gonna look for the Ash headshot.
I mean, I have no way to disprove that because they haven't won at LAN. But I mean, I don't think there's any reason to believe that they would be significantly better online.
Statue is Lippers up here on the high ground. A lot of damage there onto Hiley.
It's a joke. I mean, it could be true though, right? Like this whole season has been online, and we don't know that these teams would be as good when it gets to LAN play. Sometimes, like in other esports scenes, like CS and League of Legends, they have wildly different results when they're online.
Bob, however, as Fleta continues to
It's possible.
has that pulse bomb ready to
I don't think it's likely, but I think it's possible.
staircase in the choke. This could be very
Didn't they win a Stage 3 championship? Yeah, but that was... I mean, which of these players won a Stage 3 championship, chat? Luffy. And Luffy doesn't normally play. So, the starting roster for the Shanghai Dragons this year is totally different. Like, all 6 players are different compared to last year. So,
back down around
I don't think that you can use Shanghai Dragons' last year results to imply anything about
back down
this team. Like, honestly, to me, it's insanely impressive that Shanghai have been able to bring in a brand new roster and still be good. Like, I feel like people forget about that. This is literally 6 brand new players. And know that I'm saying this normally because Lee Jae-gon would normally be playing instead of Luffy. I know in this instance it's only 5 new players, but normally it would be all 6 new players. Not that they're all rookies, but it's a brand new team.
here on the supports.
And they're best in the league.
Dragons just keeping
It's kind of wild.
I mean, although just got.
Kind of wild.
I mean, Fleta ran like 6 circles around him in record time.
Shanghai have fielded a different roster every single year.
Corners better, although
Sometimes multiple times per year. But Season 1 Shanghai was totally different to Season 2 Shanghai. It was totally different to Season 3 Shanghai. It's really strange because it feels like a continuous arc of redemption, but really it's nothing like. I mean, I suppose that Fearless is the same from Season 1, but...
so they're just not able to deal with that.
Or at least some portions of Season 1.
And the Ash. It's an
Oh!
That's a kill right there, but it's an Ash battle they're losing, which I further makes me feel like Glister should swap to McCree here to help deal with Fleta's harassment. So he can make
I mean, I just don't think there's any chance for London in this map.
focused on winning this.
They're so scared. They're so passive. Look at this angle that Glister is holding. He's on attack! And he's in the hotel. Holding this angle. I mean, they are shitting their pants.
Yeah, this is looking
You're never going to win if you're scared of your opponents like this.
very poor for them. Really nice 1-2 punch.
This is what I end up doing in Valorant Ranked. And I just get boomed by people running around the corner all confident one-tapping me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was holding the angle, but I'm just playing too scared.
So we're prepared, but a nice
You need confidence. You need to be able to create opportunities. And you need to be able to contest areas of the map. Otherwise, you just give your opponent way too much map control. You don't poke them. Ooh, that looked like it should have been a stick, actually. But just lobbed him. This is really boring gameplay right now, actually. It's just, it's poo-poo. Pavane took his coaching style to London. He just has worse players now. I wouldn't say that New York were ever scared of their opponents, though. They were reactive. Yeah. I mean, maybe something to do with that. I don't know. I think it's maybe a bit more simple than that. I think they're just giving them too much respect because they know that they're a top team. Void with a massive feed there. Did he? Oh, yeah. I have stopped even paying attention. All right. What's going on? Void just got bored, did he? Pushing forwards. Pushing forwards. Yeah, Void is just feeding. Oh, well, no, he's not feeding at the moment, but he got halted back in, yeah. Yeah, that was a bit of a feed. I think he got bored. Lip kills Glista. Oh my god. Lip kills Sanguinar. No one's contesting this high ground. But Nas scared of taking a 1v1 against Lip. Even though he's a fucking Sigma. Oh my god. What a tragic map. What an actually tragic map from Shanghai. From London, sorry. That was very bad, actually. Go next. Go next. Their coaches deadass just said, you guys sucked so much on Kings Row, we are subbing in an entirely new roster. The entire bench gets subbed in. The whole bench gets subbed in because London sucked so much dick in Kings Row. Wow. Okay. That's, alright. That's one way to make sure that they never play scared again. You will actually be benched if you ever play that scared. Okay. So, Shui is in. I kind of rate Shui. I think he's alright. Babel I haven't really seen too much of. Jihun I've only seen really play ball. Cleston we saw a little bit of earlier on in the season, but I didn't think he was as good as Banar. And that was mostly playing the Diva, actually. Krillin I've never had a good read on. And Fuse, fucking I don't know, dude. I don't know. Okay, no idea what to expect from this roster.
There's going to be changes across the board here.
They're going to play the Ash Farah. Okay.
I was going to say to the stage, I guess to his seat.
I like Ash plus spam damage, but for me, Junkrat makes way more sense than Farah. I know that Farah can be very distracting. You have somebody flying around in the air. It's really difficult to look up whilst also trying to break shields in front of you, and it's hard to be aware of where the Farah is and where he's shooting and stuff like that. But Junkrat is so synergistic with these choke points, and you also don't have to give up one of your supports to just pocket the Farah with the, you know, you don't need to play a Mercy if you play the Junkrat. So I don't know. If you're gonna play this kind of comp, I mean, maybe Shui is a lot better at the Farah, but it's okay. It's okay. Ash Farah, don't hate it. I don't mind. I don't mind.
On the server alongside Fuse. I mean, this is what you Shanghai Dragons keeping things the same.
So, what's the best way of breaking this? Shanghai probably have no idea what London are going to run. But I would imagine that Shanghai can definitely stick on the dive here. If you go really aggro against a team that has a Farah, that can be very effective. Okay, what the fuck? He got Halt rocked? Yeah, he did. Halt rocked and destroyed. Fair enough. Void dies immediately. His ball was pretty good in map 1 though, so unless he continues to feed, I'm not willing to ignore my love for Void.
But it's tough because the Ashe kind of counters the McCree in a lot of ways.
Fearless dies very early on as well. At least the London B team isn't scared. They're going in. They're putting poke on their opponents.
Well, solid start getting the pick off there.
Don't play too aggro.
So that helps him out a lot. Shui is building up nicely.
Lip in behind. They're getting Luffy and Fleder on a flank angle. Fleder should be able to build up his... Whoa, the fucking game is lagging. What's going on here? Did this happen in the match itself? Oh, I guess it's just a video feed lagging. That's so weird. Wait, what the fuck happened there? Because this is the fight that Shanghai ended up winning, and it's like all in slow motion. So they've managed to put Lip all the way behind so that he's come like back into the fight from this angle. They've got, I believe, Fleder and Luffy kind of went up through the high ground windows, and they're looking to attack from this angle. And I think Fearless is going to dive... No, actually, I think Fearless is on Mega, right? And they're just going to dive in like that. I think this is just supposed to be a coordinated dive now.
Potential deflection.
And Shui looks like he's...
Yeah, Lip is
I guess Lip... Oh, no. I was right the first time. Fearless and Void come in from main. They're not playing at Mega. So it's Fleder and Luffy who are over here. As the... And they're gonna attack at the same time as... So they've got like a three-sided pincer. That's weird. It just instantly speeds up. Huge Bionade as well from Izayaki, who I guess is playing at Mega. God, the timing is so good. The timing is so good. Shanghai are really showing how to play dive comp. You have to get people in position first. You have to attack from multiple angles. And then your timing has to be really good as well.
Absolutely no mercy whatsoever towards the London Spitfire.
My feet chugged a moment when that happened, but it looked like Lip just drew their attention away right when the slam came through. Void comes through with the wrecking ball.
London defend with the hog and ball torture.
Going for it.
Yeah, Nano Boost is out. He's trying to climb the walls, and he dashes through to get rid of Shui.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely insane from Fleder. That's going to be the only kill that he finds with a Nano.
Fleder takes out Shui, but he doesn't get anything else with the Nano Blade, so that's not actually as good as you might have wanted. The hog and the ball have a lot of health, and they're really fucking annoying to kill. Oh, nice play by Cleston as well. I think you really have to focus on taking out the support line. You don't have any CC, so you can't kill the hog and the ball very easily. I think Shanghai should change their comp here.
It's before they can get a single tick on the point.
The Zarya? I mean, I don't think the Zarya... Oh, okay. So now Shanghai are playing the same comp as Seoul Dynasty did. The Reaper and the Tracer. The issue here being is that it's... London are playing something totally different to what New York did. And I can actually see this being fairly decent. I mean, I think that Fearless might get absolutely snacked upon. But the DPS aren't really going to do poke damage to Fearless. I don't know. I think there's definitely better comps that Shanghai could run here, but the Zarya provides a lot of sustain and can save people from hooks, which is London's only way really of turning the fight if it gets scrappy. Babel killed himself with Pulse. GG. Shui close to Dragon Blade. Fleder in the back, just trying to kill Krillin straight up. Izayaki dead. Such weird comps here. Lip is very effective at being able to kill Jihoon and Cleston, though. Oh, stick in the back onto Krillin.
with that pulse, however, does manage to find Krillin. Now Kleston going to be eliminated as well. This is the moment here for the Shanghai Dragons to finally break.
I don't really think that London's comp is good. I think that Shanghai's comp is alright against the Hog and Ball. But I don't think it's great against poke comps in the way that Seoul were trying to run it. They actually also get 0 picks. I think that Shanghai should have not swapped to this combo. I think they should have gone double shield.
Yet again, are staved off and cannot get any percentage here on point B.
Comp too with the wrecking, or excuse me, the now gives them a lot of extra sustainability. And
Hog and Ball with Lucio Anna, also known as 5.5 DPS. 5? You consider Ball a DPS? Anna? DPS?
As well as the sound barrier, but Shui, if he gets an opening pick, they can't win this 5v6. He's even gonna get nano.
Nice from Shui. Shui's actually got a pretty good Doom.
Uppercut, the primary fire. Luffy will be taken out. He is well into the back line and doesn't really have a way to get out to safety, so we'll be collapsed.
Jihun's a DPS player when he pops off. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially with the crazy tech that you can do on Ball. Actually.
Really nice by Jihun too. He was set up for the perfect minefield. He didn't need it though. They already gotten 2 kills, so he actually had
So now Shanghai have gone over to the Ball. I feel like this is just such a mess for Shanghai.
right behind them.
Like, both teams are just swapping comps to wild shit. Kleston's moved over to the Zarya in order to provide some more synergy with Shui, and because the Hog was just getting hard countered by the Reaper and the Zarya, I think. The Reaper, Tracer, and Zarya. They're all pretty effective at being able to burn down a Roadhog. And the Anna, I suppose, as well, because I don't think Luffy was originally playing that, was he? Anyway. And then Shanghai made the swap over from Fearless onto the Ball. I mean, it's just kind of madness. Grav to kill Kleston. This is pure improvisation Overwatch. Or actually, it's not really, because it seems like people have been practicing these comps a little bit, but it's so scrappy. And I feel like there's not really any good data. Yeah, Izzyaki on the Lucio as well. Yeah, what the fuck. I mean, it's just, I feel like both teams are winging it.
Time buying there on the point B defense from the London Spitfire, but now we have to see how they fare on their own attack.
If you were Shanghai and you knew your opponents basically gave up on the match, why not fuck around? I don't think they're fucking around though. I think they're just playing comps that they've practiced recently that they think might be decent against Hog and Ball. I think some people might have been scrimming Hog and Ball on certain points. I know it's a bit of a ranked meme, but I think some of the pro teams and tier 2 teams have been scrimming it a bit. Also, yeah, I don't know whether London have given up on the fight. They're subbed in their entire B team, but we don't know why. Lord knows. Izzyaki on Lucio can't be something they practiced. No, that's true. That was because Lee Jigon was ill. But I mean, I think that Shanghai might have practiced Winston, Zarya, Tracer, Reaper, because Seoul were also running it. So it seems like something that might have been developed in the Korean scrim market.
You love to see that with a roster that's just totally a 6-man sub in, extremely rare in the Overwatch League. But this one so far is looking clean.
Yes, it has, but now that they're...
Alright, so London are going for the hardcore dive. Jihun on the Ball. Jihun fed last time he was fielded for London, actually. He just did... no, he didn't feed. That's wrong. He just did nothing. He did literally nothing. Last time he played, it was on Ilios, and he just rolled around.
We'll go ahead and push back. Doesn't want to take any unnecessary chip damage and give over ult charge.
Did a little bit more on defense that round.
We would have taken him close to elimination.
Deflect is the counter to Pharah now.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can deflect those rockets straight back up into the air. That pyro practice from TF2.
Judge my hot take. Alright, I'll get to you in a second. Zion. Hunker, thanks for the 2 months as well. I don't know whether I already said that, but there you go.
to stay safe now, wrapping around that right-hand side from the defender's perspective. Barrier goes up, they try to keep it blocked. Fleta falling low, but has that mercy pocket from Luffy to keep him.
Shanghai always put pressure on their opponents. They know where to fight. Like, they have to fight around this area because they cannot allow the Ana player to... They can't allow London to take control of Mega. If London take control of Mega, then they have a good position for Krillin to sit in, and they can set up dives out of there. But if they fight over this area, then they can keep London Spitfire in the choke and force them to just push down main. I think Shanghai are so smart, like the fights that they actually take, the areas that they fight over.
Because they cannot rely on her to get there by herself.
Forcing Cleston to use his
I'll look at your hot take at the end of this map, though, Zion.
up, towards where Fleta is. Fleta's got these great angles where you get fuel back and also threaten the rest of the team. But that means on the ground.
Lord Almighty, that looks like a hot take, though.
Multiple angles and there's just no defense.
Oh, wow. Jian with the mid-air stun, but it didn't really do anything. Cleston killed Fleta. Don't know why Jihoon didn't go for a power drive onto Izayaki. Not really sure why he didn't try and contest the Ana. But London have just not been able to get in position at all this entire time. Oh, now Krillin's going to get murdered. Shanghai are so good at being able to fight on multiple fronts and still connect with each other afterwards. They're very coordinated. On the other side, London seem like they can only do one thing at once. They can only either get their Ana in position, or their Tracer in position, or their Genji in position at once. They seem like they need their entire team just to do one thing. Who calls for Shanghai? I have no idea. I actually have no idea. I've not even heard of any of these players being callers in the past.
So you can get his fuel back there and then still be in the sky. It's actually a really nice position to go from. We're going to see the blade now as the approach. The knockback, though!
Wow. Huge boops on Shui. Wow. Shui could do nothing there. Sick primal from Fearless. Bro, what the fuck? Look at Fearless here. Look at this. As soon as he realizes Shui is going to blade, Fearless pops his primal. He jumps up and boops him away. And then he boops him again. When he dashes, he boops him into a corner. And even though they kill Lip, Shui has done nothing the whole time. Holy mother of God, Fearless is a Chad. I think I agree with Leg Day that Fearless is the best Winston in the game right now. Fearless was always pretty good at Winston, though. Even back in his Element Mystic days, I think his Winston was a great pick. He used to be really good at Orisa as well. Or rather, Element Mystic used to have really good Orisa strats. But I think he was good at Orisa as well. The pulse bomb prevented him from even getting a dash reset. True, yeah. Yeah, it did. If he'd been able to kill Lip, he would have had a dash reset to maybe avoid the primal, but the anti-synergy with Babylon Shui. Good Shui might be in much more of a position to succeed with Architect now on his team. Okay, what the hell are we watching here? Alright, they killed Fearless. Oh no, Fleta booms his counterpart and Krillin ends up dying to Lip. That's nasty. Okay, well, GG. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are just multiple tiers of difference between the Shanghai Dragons and the London Spitfire. That was not a GG, that was actually a BG.